Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to Utility Sports. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the conference championship games that are coming up this next week in the NFL. We just had a crazy divisional round where a ton of upsets went down. Of course, the Bengals had the massive win over the Tennessee Titans. San Francisco 49ers shocked the world against the Green Bay Packers. Chiefs barely outlast the Buffalo Bills in what was one of the best games all season. And then you also have the LA Rams beating Tom Brady despite a near comeback in that one. Phenomenal games. And if you guys are excited about this next week of playoff football, make sure to leave a like on today's video. Also subscribe if you are new to Utility Sports. It would really mean a lot to have your guys' support. We have the best viewers on the planet. I firmly believe that. We're up near 5,500 subscribers and would love for you to be a part of Utility Sports moving into the future. We do a lot of NFL content, NFL mock drafts, as well as some NBA content, MLB content as well. There's so much that you can check out and more here on the channel. So make sure you guys do check out some of our other videos, hit that notification bell. And without further ado, Austin, let's jump into it with our postseason pick'em records. All regular season wrong. Austin dominated me. But here in a smaller sample size, emphasis on that smaller sample size here. I'm 7-3, Austin 6-4. Austin, what are you saying to the guys to get them riled up to come back in this one?
Yeah, guys, if you want to be right in your pick 'em, go with Sheldon. I mean, he's got the one game advantage. I don't see why you wouldn't go with him when you're making your pick 'em for this week. So go ahead and follow the ship with Sheldon. He's a regular season guru, but also postseason warrior. So let's go ahead and get right into it.
Of course, our records do look a little wild. Some of those upsets this past week did throw a little bit of a curveball into our pick'em records, but we did pick the Bengals right. So at least we got one of these upsets right. Both of us did go with Cincinnati last week. And looking at the playoff bracket here again, final four teams: Kansas City Chiefs, Cincinnati Bengals in the AFC, and in the NFC, we've got the Los Angeles Rams, pioneered by Matt Stafford, and then the San Francisco 49ers. They're the surprise team in here. I don't think a lot of people expected them to not only beat the Dallas Cowboys, but then to also go into Lambeau and beat the Green Bay Packers. They've had a phenomenal start to the postseason. They're looking to continue it here. We're going to start with the AFC Championship game. In this one, Austin, we've got two really great teams and two really potent offenses. We also look at Cincinnati. They got a good defense. What are some of the keys for you in this game? We did both opt for Kansas City in this one.
If you look at the Cincinnati Bengals, can you hold up in that secondary? I mean, you have to really rely on Mike Hilton playing as consistent as he has all season long. Mike Hilton made a huge play in that divisional round game against the Tennessee Titans with that pick. Eli Apple, can he hold up in coverage? Chidobe Awuzie. There's a lot of unknowns for this secondary in terms of what you're going to get week to week, really outside of Mike Hilton. But looking at what their strengths are, they can get after the quarterback. They're opportunistic in generating some pressure, but what they're really good at is defending the run, especially on the inside. You have big DJ Reader, big free agent acquisition, absolutely on top of his game, really neutralized the run against the Tennessee Titans, really held them up in check, aside from one pretty big run from Foreman. You have to look at that as the true strength of their team. Logan Wilson is a terrific linebacker in his own right, a guy that has been extremely underrated all season long. Jermaine Pratt, he's going to have to do a better job in pass coverage. That's where a little bit of my concern lies with the Cincinnati Bengals defense. And on the flip side, when you look at that offense for the Cincinnati Bengals, it's really going to be, can you put a pressure on those corners all day long? For me, I would be looking Mike Hughes' way a lot of the time. Whoever Mike Hughes is guarding, that's who I'm throwing to. In their first matchup, it was a lot of that. They were really attacking Kansas City secondary. Yes, they were trying to run the ball in that game, but I think it was really the approach of throwing the football and giving your receivers a chance on one-on-one situations, 50-50 balls. That's exactly what they did. They trusted their outside guys, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, two guys that were an absolute difference makers in that game. Huge game for the Bengals in that regular season, getting the win against them. But this is a huge matchup. What do you like for Kansas City here?
For Kansas City here, you look at their two big dogs offensively outside of Patrick Mahomes. That's Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill. Of course, those two were very pivotal for them setting up that late game field goal against the Buffalo Bills to push it to overtime. But just throughout the whole game in general, Tyreek Hill has really expanded his game in the last few seasons, his ability to run routes now, his ability to get off the line of scrimmage. He's got one of the best releases in the NFL. And for the Bengals, you've got to have multiple eyes on him. But that's tough to do because you also have to have multiple eyes on Travis Kelce. I think Jesse Bates and Logan Wilson are going to have their hands full across the middle with 87 in red, because the Chiefs, they're going to be looking to utilize those guys. Like you said, I don't think there's going to be a lot of run game going on for Kansas City. But for me, I think they're going to also have to look at getting their running backs involved in the passing game, especially in the screen game. Try and slow down the Bengals pass rush a little bit, and try not to let them become so ready coming downhill at Patrick Mahomes. For me, though, I think Kansas City is going to win this game narrowly. I think one matchup to watch defensively for Kansas City is Charvarius Ward versus Jamar Chase. Of course, those two got into it a little bit in their first matchup this past regular season. Charvarius Ward, of course, mocked Jamar Chase's gritty, and then Jamar Chase later came in and mossed him essentially, and then hit the gritty right on him. So those two guys are going to be two guys battling it out this week. And I think the Bengals are more competitive than a lot of people give them credit for. I have the Chiefs winning, but I would not be shocked if Cincinnati does pull it out. KC's a great team, but so is Cincinnati. This is going to be a great matchup this weekend, which then pulls us here into, of course, the NFC Conference Championship game. There's a lot to break down in this one as well, Austin. And two teams I don't think either of us really expected to be matching up at this point. I think a lot of people had considered Green Bay and Tampa Bay to be the favorites to get back to the NFC Conference Championship game and face off once again. However, that's not the case. We have two NFC West teams, the 49ers and Rams. Austin, break down what your thoughts are for this matchup.
Now, it's really tough because San Fran has had the Rams number this season, and we saw it in that last matchup as well, coming back on them. But I do like the Rams in this game. You know, it was a tough go of it for Cam Akers in this past game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I fully expect him to bounce back. If there's an offensive line that is equipped to handle this pass rush of this 49ers team, it's the LA Rams. Very, very sound up front. Rob Havenstein, hopefully they get Whitworth back, but Boom did a really nice job in that game against Tampa, filling in, did a very, very nice job containing them. And if you look at the LA Rams, obviously a strength of theirs is passing the football. And that's, where you have to exploit the San Francisco 49ers. They're really good at getting after the quarterback, but when they aren't generating that pass rush, sometimes their corners can be susceptible to giving up big plays. They're a very talented unit defensively as a whole, but if you can really hold up in pass protection, give Matt Stafford a lot of time, that's the ultimate difference. But on the flip side, I'm going to look at that San Fran offense. This is an offense that is really, really geared towards running the football. Elijah Mitchell's had a lot of success so far this season, and I think they can actually really wear down the Rams in that run game. Aaron Donald's the big X factor. He's a guy that can really shut down an opponent's game plan, whether it's in the run or the pass. He's talented against both, one of the best players in the entire league. And he is the best defensive player in all of the land, but a guy that can really wreak havoc. It's also going to take a collective unit effort for them to stop the run. They're so creative out of that and play action, forcing Jimmy Garoppolo to make some mistakes, which he has done the last couple of games, extending back to the regular season as well. A guy that has been a little more susceptible to turnovers as of late. That's the key for the LA Rams.
For me here, you can see that I picked the San Francisco 49ers. Austin did go with the LA Rams, and I think the LA Rams are the favorites on paper. But for me, San Francisco has to do what they do best, and that is control the football, control time of possession, and control the line of scrimmage. In this one, I think they have the makings to do it. The San Francisco 49ers have not lost to the Los Angeles Rams since 2018. So they are a team set up to succeed against this interdivision matchup. And when you look at some of their signings this past offseason, they were able to re-sign Trent Williams. That's going to be huge in this one. He's going to see a lot of Von Miller in that game. Von Miller, of course, had a few huge plays against the Buccaneers. I think Trent Williams is going to try and neutralize him as well as anyone in the NFL can. And you also look at Alex Mack, a key signing from them, coming from Atlanta. Of course, he had that relationship with Shanahan there. I think he's going to be huge against Aaron Donald last. And you had highlighted Aaron Donald. I think Alex Mack needs to get highlighted. And then Deebo Samuel, using him in a variety of ways, getting him the ball outside the numbers, getting him the ball on jet sweeps, getting him the ball out of the backfield, all the certain ways that they use him. He's got to have a great game. And I think Aaron Donald, the quote that's going to stick with the Rams here, is an interview a couple of years back when they asked him about how they're going to contain Deebo Samuel, and he said, "Who is that?" I think that's going to put a little bit of fuel into the mouths of the San Francisco 49ers. I have them out edging the LA Rams. The Rams, they haven't played from behind yet this playoffs. And I think if the Niners can get out early, they can try and control the time of possession and make this a slow-paced game. And that's what they need to do to win this one. Jimmy Garoppolo has to play mistake-free, and you highlighted that as well. You're exactly right with that. If he turns the football over, it becomes infinitely tougher for San Francisco. I think it's going to be a great matchup, though. Let us know in the comments who you think is going to win these matchups. If you have the Chiefs or Bengals, and then if you have the Rams or 49ers setting up for a Super Bowl. Absolutely crazy fun matchups this week. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. You are the best viewers in the planet. We are extremely blessed to have you guys taking time out of your day to watch us. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you are new. We would love to have you be a part of what we do here at Utility Sports. Let us know again in the comments your thoughts on today's video, who you have winning these matchups, and perhaps who you have winning it all. We'd love to hear. Again, thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the very next Utility Sports video.